You will never be a part of this family. Do you hear me? Never.
You can tell a lot about a person by how they treat someone who can do absolutely nothing for them. Honey, we've all seen it. The man who smiles at his date but snaps his fingers at the waiter. The woman who donates to charity but won't hold the elevator for the janitor. They wear a mask of kindness, but it slips the moment they think nobody important is watching. But here's the thing about masks. Eventually, they fall off. Today's story is about my son David and the girl he thought was an angel. She had the face of a model and the charm of a politician, but I wanted to know if her heart was real. So, I decided to run a little test. I swapped my designer suit for a cleaning apron. I swapped my diamonds for a mop. And what I saw that day? Child, it broke my heart. But it saved my son's life. Sit down, grab your tea, and get comfortable. Because Auntie is about to tell you the story of the day the maid fired the future lady of the house. Let me give you a little background so you understand the stakes. My name is Mrs. Johnson, but you know me as Auntie Sage. Now looking at me today, you see the nice clothes, the jewelry, the big house on the hill. You might think I was born into this. You would be wrong. I scrubbed floors for 20 years. I cleaned offices while everyone else was sleeping. I saved every penny, invested in real estate when nobody else would, and built my empire brick by brick. I know what bleach smells like at 3 a.m. I know what it feels like to be invisible. My son David, he had it different. He grew up with private schools and piano lessons. He's a good man, a successful architect, but he has a blind spot. He thinks everyone has a good heart because he has a good heart. So when he told me he was bringing home the one, I was happy, but I was cautious. Her name was Vanessa. David couldn't stop talking about her. Mom, she's perfect. She volunteers at the shelter. She loves art. She's so gentle. Gentle. Keep that word in mind. Now, David didn't know this, but I had actually seen Vanessa before. A few weeks prior, I was coming out of the grocery store, and I saw a young woman matching her description screaming, and I mean screaming, at an elderly woman who had accidentally bumped her shopping cart. I didn't see her face clearly then, but I heard the voice. It was sharp, cold, entitled. So when David said he was bringing Vanessa to the estate for the weekend to meet Mom, I hatched a plan. I told David, "Baby, I have to fly to Chicago for an emergency board meeting. I won't be there when you arrive." He was crushed. He said, "Mom, please, I want you to meet her." I told him, "Don't worry, I'll be back Sunday night. But the new housekeeper, Martha, will be there to let you in and cook for you. Treat her well." David said, "Of course, Mom." But here is the secret. There was no Martha. Saturday morning arrived. I sent the staff home for the weekend. I went into the back of my closet and pulled out my old cleaning uniform, the blue one with the fraying collar. I tied my hair up in a faded scarf. I took off every ring, every bracelet, and washed the makeup off my face. I looked in the mirror. Mrs. Johnson, the CEO, was gone. Martha, the invisible help, was looking back at me. It's amazing how much people don't see you when you dress down. At 2 p.m., David's car pulled up the long driveway. I was sweeping the front porch. I saw Vanessa step out of the car. And honey, she was stunning. I'll give her that. Dressed in white linen, hair blowing in the wind, sunglasses that cost more than my first car. She looked up at the mansion, my mansion, and her jaw dropped. I heard her say, "David, you didn't tell me your mother was this rich." David laughed and said, "It's just a house, babe. Come on, let's go inside." They walked up the steps. I kept my head down, sweeping the dust. David smiled at me. He was in on the prank, but he hated it. He looked nervous. He said, "Hi, Martha. This is Vanessa." I looked up, doing my best tired old woman voice. I said, "Welcome, miss. Can I take your bags?" Vanessa didn't even look me in the eye. She looked past me. She just dropped her suitcase on the porch, right in front of my feet, and walked through the door. She said, Careful with that bag. It's vintage leather. Don't scratch it. No, hello. No, thank you. Just an order. We went inside. I went to the kitchen to prepare lunch. I could hear them talking in the living room. Vanessa's voice had changed. It was high-pitched and sweet. Oh, David, this art is exquisite. Your mother has such taste. I just want to sit here and soak it all in. I brought out a tray of iced tea. My hands were shaking a little, not from age, but from anger. But I held it together. I walked over to the coffee table. Here you go, miss. Iced tea. Vanessa smiled. A fake, plastic smile. She said, Oh, thank you. What was your name again? Martha, ma'am. Right. Martha. Could you get me a coaster? I don't want to leave a ring on this antique table. David looked uncomfortable. He said, It's okay, Ness. It's just a table. But I fetched the coaster. I played the part. For the next hour, I watched her. She was performing. She held David's hand. She laughed at his jokes. She talked about how much she loved charity work. She said, It just breaks my heart to see people with less. I think it's our duty to lift them up. I was in the corner, dusting a bookshelf, thinking to myself, Girl, if you only knew. Then came the moment of truth. David's phone rang. It was his business partner. He stood up and said, Babe, I am so sorry. I have to take this. It's urgent. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Martha will get you anything you need. He kissed her on the forehead and walked out to the garden. The moment the sliding glass door clicked shut, the air in the room changed. It got cold. Vanessa stopped smiling. She slumped back into the sofa and pulled out her phone. She started scrolling, ignoring me completely. I decided to push her. Just a little. I walked over with the pitcher of tea to refill her glass. As I poured, I let my hand slip. Just a tiny splash of iced tea landed on the coffee table. Not on her, not on the rug. Just a drop on the table. Oh! I am so sorry, miss, I said, grabbing a napkin. Vanessa jumped up like she had been shot. Are you blind? She screamed. It was the voice from the grocery store. The demon voice. She shouted, Look what you did! You almost ruined my dress. Do you know how much this costs? More than you make in a year. I kept my head down. I'm sorry, miss. My hands, they aren't steady like they used to be. She scoffed. A nasty, cruel sound. Well, if you can't pour a drink, why are you even here? God, it smells like bleach in here. Go get me a fresh glass and put ice in it this time. This one is watery. I stood there for a second looking at her. This was the girl who volunteered at the shelter? This was the gentle soul. I said quietly, Yes, miss. I went to the kitchen. I didn't get a fresh glass. I just stood there, counting to 10. 1, 2, 3. I wanted to march back in there and throw her out, but I needed David to see it. I needed him to witness the monster behind the mask. I walked back into the living room. Vanessa was on the phone now, talking to her friend. She didn't think I could hear her. She was whispering, Girl, you should see this place. It is a palace. I mean, the mother is never here, apparently. She's always traveling. Once I get that ring on my finger, I am redoing everything. The decor is so old money. It's dusty. And the help? They have this ancient maid who looks like she belongs in a crypt. I'm going to have David fire her the second we move in. Move in? Oh, honey, you aren't moving in anywhere. Just then, I saw David walking back from the garden. He was coming through the patio doors behind Vanessa. She couldn't see him, but I could. I knew this was my chance. I walked past Vanessa, carrying a vase of flowers I was pretending to rearrange. Vanessa looked at me and snapped her fingers. Hey, you. I stopped. Yes, miss. Don't just stand there hovering. It's creepy. Go clean the bathroom or something. I don't want to look at you. David opened the door. He heard it. He stepped into the room, looking confused. Ness? Vanessa spun around. The smile reappeared instantly. It was like magic. David, you're back, she beamed. Oh, honey, I was just telling Martha how beautiful these flowers are. Weren't we, Martha? She looked at me with eyes that said, play along or else. I didn't say a word. I just stood there, looking frail. David looked at me, then at her. I heard you yelling, Vanessa. Vanessa laughed, a nervous little tinkle. Yelling? Don't be silly. I was just projecting. You know how I get when I'm excited. She walked over to hug him, but David stepped back. You told her to go clean the bathroom because you didn't want to look at her. Vanessa's face hardened. She realized the sweet act wasn't working, so she tried the victim act. She sighed and rolled her eyes. Okay, fine. I was a little harsh. But David, look at her. She almost spilled a drink on me earlier. She's clumsy. She's old. Honestly, babe, this house deserves better service. When we're married, we should hire a professional staff, someone who knows their place. David looked at her like he was seeing a stranger. Someone who knows their place? He repeated. Yes, Vanessa said. It's not personal. It's just standards, David. Your mother would understand. Successful people don't surround themselves with incompetence. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I started to laugh. A low, deep chuckle. Vanessa glared at me. Excuse me? Is something funny? I looked up. I straightened my back. The frail old woman posture disappeared. I looked her dead in the eye with the gaze of a woman who runs a multi-million-dollar corporation. Yes, I said. My voice wasn't shaky anymore. It was strong. It is funny. Because you're right about one thing, Vanessa. Successful people don't surround themselves with incompetence. And they certainly don't surround themselves with trash. Vanessa gasped. Excuse me? David, are you going to let the help talk to me like that? Fire her. Right now. David looked at the floor, shaking his head. Then he looked at Vanessa. I can't fire her, Vanessa. Why not? She screamed. You're the man of the house. David walked over to me and put his arm around my shoulder. Because, David said softly, it's her house. You should have seen the silence that fell over that room. It was heavy. Vanessa blinked. What? I reached up and untied the old scarf from my head. I shook out my hair. I took the apron off and threw it on the expensive leather sofa right next to her bag. Hello, Vanessa, I said. I'm Mrs. Johnson. David's mother. Vanessa's face went pale, then red, then pale again. She looked like a fish gasping for air. No, you're Martha. You're the maid. I was the maid for the last 2 hours, I told her, stepping closer. And in those 2 hours, I learned more about you than my son learned in 6 months. She started to backtrack. The panic set in. Mrs. Johnson! Oh my God, I didn't know! It was a joke. I was having a bad day. My blood sugar was low. You know how it is, right? She reached out to touch my arm. I pulled away. Don't, I said. You weren't having a bad day, child. You were showing your true character. You thought I was nobody. You thought I had no power, so you treated me like dirt. You only respect people you think can give you something. David, she pleaded, turning to him. Tell her how much we love each other. David looked at her with sadness in his eyes. He said, I thought I loved you, Ness, but the woman I loved wouldn't treat a stranger that way. My mother scrubbed floors to build this life for me. When you insult a maid, you insult her. Vanessa started crying, real ugly tears this time, because she realized the golden ticket was slipping away. Please, she sobbed. I can change. I'm sorry. I walked to the front door and opened it wide. I accept your apology, I said, but I don't accept you in my family. You wanted someone who knows their place? Oh, well, let me tell you yours. It is outside that door. David, she whispered. David didn't even look at her. He just pointed to the door. She grabbed her vintage bag, the one she was so worried about scratching, and ran out of the house. She didn't look like a model anymore. She looked small. I closed the door. The sound echoed through the house. David collapsed onto the sofa and put his head in his hands. I'm sorry, Mom. I feel so stupid. I sat down next to him and took his hand, my rough, hard-working hand, holding his soft one. Don't be sorry, baby, I said. Be thankful. It costs a lot less to lose a girlfriend than it does to divorce a wife. That was 3 years ago. David is married now, to a wonderful woman named Sarah. And you know how they met? She was a waitress at a diner. He watched her handle a rude customer with grace and kindness, and he fell in love right there. As for Vanessa, I heard she's still looking for a rich husband, but word travels fast in this town. And Auntie Sage, I gossip. So, let this be a lesson to you. It doesn't matter if you are talking to a CEO or a cleaner. It doesn't matter if they are wearing a silk suit or a polyester uniform. Treat everyone with dignity, because you never know who you are talking to. They might be the owner of the house, or they might just be a human being. And honey, that should be enough. This is Auntie Sage, reminding you that character isn't who you are in the spotlight. It's who you are in the dark. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your heart kind.